All right. So I am brand new to this, and my link I couldn't get to work. So I don't know. Okay, nobody's in yet. Hi. Hi, Mandy. Welcome. Oh goodness. I obviously have not thought this completely through. So I'm hoping that hi Tice. I am hoping that this goes smoothly. It's not so far. I did not. I couldn't get um, the one that I set up to go. I couldn't get it to work, so I'm not sure why that happened. But we're here now, and if you haven't done your accounting yet, then I will, I'll help you get through that today. And then if you have, then that's perfect. I'm so glad that you're still here. Um, if you're using my workbook, please let me know that you are, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out how to share my screen. I don't know that I probably should have done a test run beforehand, but I will do my best to at least answer any questions that you guys have. Hi Kylie, hi Kimmery. Raw K Fist 13, thank you for the purchase. Hi Sally. Welcome, welcome. So glad you guys came. East Coast Poker. I am almost positive that it will be saved. This is my first run at this, so I am hoping that it will be saved and that you can watch it later on. Like I said, I'm almost positive. If not, we'll work it out. I'll do another run at it. Let me see if I can figure out how to. Sure, Mandy, that's fine. We can definitely get that going. And if anybody has any pointers for me to know how to maybe share my screen, I'd be happy to do that. So I guess I'll just talk here a little bit about some things to think about when you are doing your accounting. If you are an eBay seller, which I know most of you that are in the chat so far are, then the first thing that you're going to want to do is run your numbers. And you do that by going, just shut some of this stuff so that I quit getting. So you do that by going to the performance tab on eBay, going down to sales, and then you can switch and do just last month. And when you do last month, that will pull up just your numbers for the past month. And that's the perfect start. So you can get all your sales, your gross sales for the month and plug that in. You can see what your total selling fees were for the month. And when you get the total selling fees, you will just do that as one line. You don't need to separate out the shipping and actual fees and promoted. You don't need to separate all that out. So just do one expense line that says eBay fees, and it would go under cost of goods other, because anything that it takes to get your product from you to the customer is going to be part of your cost of goods. So that would go under cost of goods other, and just put the total. And then you can put, if you're using my workbook, you can put as a note eBay fees. And I generally just put like the end of the month. So for example, pulling for August, I would just put August 31st eBay fees and whatever that amount is. And then you're going to take your, just have your pile of receipts and go through your receipts and put in each individual thing based on, what it is. If it's inventory, then that would be under the category inventory. If it's some kind of supply, for example, if it is paper for your printer or a pen or a calendar, that would go under regular supplies. If it is poly mailers or boxes or wrapping paper or anything like that, then that's going to go under cost of goods other also, because again, it is part of what it takes to get from you to the customer. If anybody else comes in, please say hello. I haven't figured out exactly how to navigate all this yet. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask. Hi, Christina. And I'm just going to kind of walk through the different aspects of how do you find my sheet. Okay, one moment, and I will get a link for that. Hey, Dawn. All right, so there's the main page. And then on there, if you're a reseller, then grab the Resellers Edition. Otherwise, you can get the All Businesses Edition. Both of them will work for multiple streams of income and for various businesses. The Reseller Edition just has one extra sheet, which is the cash accounting inventory tracker. Otherwise, they're the same thing. I actually use it for 5 streams of income, and it currently will support 6. If you need more than 6, then just let me know and I will update the sheet for you. It will also support up to 4 vehicles. If you need more than 4, let me know. I will expand that for you. If you are in the reseller Patreon group, then shoot me a private message, and I will shoot you a coupon. That is for the Reseller Nirvana Patreon group with Chris Lynn and Tech and Sports, Daily Refinement and Tech and Sports. So let's see, where was I? Okay, so receipts. So plug in all your receipts. And then the way that I handle mileage is I take those same receipts and I look at where I went, what day it was, and then I calculate the round trip mileage for all of those places. So, for example, if I run to the post office, which is like 4 miles away, and then I go to a thrift store, that's another 2, and then I go a little bit further. And so far I'm at 6, and I've gone about another 10 miles to get to a thrift store. Then I'm up to 16, and then I turn around and come all the way home. Then that's 32 total miles driven. Then I plug that into my miles, and then I would put post office, and then thrift 1 and thrift 2, whatever those are, in the notes section for the mileage. The other thing is, I run my errands while I'm out doing business trips. So if I'm going to the thrift store, then I'm gonna run my errands between here and there, because those don't stop your mileage. Just by stopping to run a personal errand doesn't stop your mileage. You're still going however many miles out total that it is, right? So if you, especially with gas prices the way they are, make sure that you try and run all your errands in between stopping for something for your business. So, if you go to the grocery store and there's a Staples next door, and you can run in and get something for your business, then do that. And then you've knocked out your mileage that would have otherwise not counted for going to the grocery store, right? And I apologize, I say a lot, especially when I'm kind of just sitting here talking to the chat. Okay, so we've talked about putting your mileage in. We've talked about putting your expenses in, and the people that use my workbook have verified. All right, Tom, make me an omelet too while you're at it. Thank you, Sally. And Tice, then we can just say together. And I forgot what I was saying. So we've talked about putting in your mileage. We've talked about, that's what it was. The people that have my workbook so far have verified that I'm not exaggerating when it comes to saying that it only takes about 15 minutes a month at this point to have to do your bookkeeping. And there's no redundancy. There's no, like with some of the softwares, it will pull in, especially if you're connected to eBay and your bank account, it'll pull in your gross, and it'll also pull in your payments. So it's double getting your it's doubling those things up. And so unless you know how to do journal entries, and so that you can take the things out that it's not supposed to be counting, or that it's counting double, then you're going to end up with issues, and you might end up paying taxes on things that aren't valid, or not paying taxes on something because you think it is different than what it is. And you want to have a snapshot of your business at all times, right? So every month when you put your totals into the workbook, then there's a little green box at the bottom of the expense tab that shows you exactly where you stand. If you've got all your expenses in, you've put your gross sales in for the month, and you've put your mileage in, then it will tell you exactly where you stand for the month. So Tice says, it is not a lie. Woke up at 4 a.m., was done with my end of the month numbers by no later than 4:20. And so you got to grab some coffee in there, right? Soda, drink, use the bathroom, something. So still, we're going to still say 15 minutes. Raw K Fist 13 says, do you track the mileage as you go monthly, or is the mileage part a daily business task for you? So for me, I only do it once a month. Now, granted, I don't do a lot of leaving the house. However, even if you do, most of the time you end up having a routine, like of the same places that you go, like certain days. So you can kind of go ahead and pre-program your mileage down the sheet as, like Monday, I do this every day. For example, you go to the post office 6 days a week. You can go ahead and pre-program that. And then if something happens and you don't, just delete that piece. East Coast Poker says, I agree. Workbook is amazing and easy to use. Saves me hours every month. Wonderful. So happy to hear that. Kim says, how do you handle waste? I buy vinyl in lots. Some are trash. I'm a retired bookkeeper, not an expert. Know enough to be dangerous. Okay, so I'm guessing, Kim, that you make your own product. So for you, you can expense those rolls of vinyl when you purchase them. Oh, vinyl records. Okay. So that's a little bit different. But it would be the same as any other thing that gets purchased from the thrift store. If you are a sole prop or an LLC, and under certain circumstances, if you're an S corp, you can expense your inventory at the time of purchase, and that is what I suggest that everybody does, is expense it at the time of purchase. So once you've expensed it, then you've already taken credit for it, and there's nothing else for you to do. If you've expensed it and you come home and you find that, say it's a shirt that has a hole in it that you didn't see when you purchased it, it just goes in the trash. You've already taken that into account. So vinyl records would be the same thing. If you get home and you find out that it's got mold on it, some of the things that I've seen, it's got mold on it, or it's way too scratched, or it ends up being broken, then just expense your whole receipt and then trash that. Unless you know somebody there are people that do crafts with it, with those types of items. So maybe you can put those into a craft lot. So check that out and see if that ends up being a valid way for you to not have to trash those items. So Raw K Fist says, so you have an idea based on your receipts and make your log from that for something that's not a scheduled regular run. Yeah, you need to be keeping your receipts across the board regardless, right? And now whether you keep them electronically or you keep them, the paper form, I don't care. Both, fine, but definitely keep them. If you go somewhere and it's a cash transaction, then, have you a little book like this this is sales order, but same thing. You can get those little receipt books too, just so that you have some way to record what it is. So in this case, I would just write where I went. If it was a yard sale, I would say a yard sale and the town. I wouldn't get like specific with the person's name or their address. I'm not worried about that. Just say yard sale, in my case, Lusby, Maryland. And I would say I purchased 10 items for $10. And then after I would take that with my ATM receipt where I got the cash out and put them all together so that it shows that I've spent all that money that I took out cash in the business. Laundry, for those of you that sell clothes, if you go to the laundromat, same thing. You got to have the cash for those machines, right? So you take out your ATM, you take out cash from the ATM, you write your receipt that you did laundry, or just write on the ATM receipt laundry, and keep that and put that in for your laundry. Let's see. East Coast Poker asks if is there a cap on mileage? There is no cap on mileage. Mandy says, last year I did the line-by-line system, which was ridiculous for me to keep track of. Exactly. How do I switch to this method? What about the items I haven't accounted for that I bought last year? Oy. So first step, look at your taxes and see if the accrual or cash box is checked. That would be at the top section, about a quarter of the way down underneath the address. And it would say, it would just be a checkbox for cash or account accrual method. If it's cash method checked, then it's super easy. All you're going to do is take everything that you had at the end of last year, that whole number. So say you had on your taxes, say you started with $10,000, you ended with $5,000 worth of inventory left on your books. So that $5,000 and anything else that you purchased, you're just going to take one line expense of $5,000 and just make a note that it was last year's purchase that was unaccounted for. Well, not unaccounted for, that was left on the books at the end of the year, and you're switching to cash accounting. So you would just do that one line in your expense. So when you get to the end of this year, it will just total up as a one whole number, and you won't have anything left when you do your taxes. It'll be what you bought minus what you sold, and it'll be zero on your Schedule C. As far as the things that you bought last year that you didn't account for, technically speaking, there's nothing you can do, because it should have been based on the system that you were using. You should have accounted for them last year, whether it was leaving the number on the books or expensing it at the time of the purchase. You can go back and amend last year's taxes and amend it and then include those in your expenses and reduce your overall profit. But if you're going to reach out and we're going to have a one-to-one, then I can help you do that at the time that we have the call. Tice says, what if you don't use all of the cash you withdraw? Eventually you're going to, right? Or you can, if you put it back in the bank, then you can just, make a note that would be corroborated with your bank statement that you put back X amount of dollars that so you show a deposit for that, and just make a note on your receipt. You took out 100, you redeposited 50, and you'll be good. Kim says, as an LLC, am I able to carry forward any loss for cost of goods? Most of my inventory purchases were last year. So it depends. Most of the time, you don't need to carry forward the loss. You just take the loss in the year, unless it's something like depreciation or Section 179 deduction. There's nothing wrong with going ahead and taking the loss at the time and reducing your overall tax burden. You can elect to carry a loss forward, whether or not you're an LLC. But it's more of a case-by-case basis on whether that it would be the most beneficial thing for your tax situation. Yay, thank you for all the questions. So, we're 28 minutes in. Has anybody finished their accounting for the month other than Tice, who did it before the call? Kim says, I also started my LLC last year. Haven't done my taxes for last year yet. How far back can I capture startup costs? You can capture them for last year. So if you haven't done your taxes for last year, then I would suggest that you go ahead and capture the startup costs and all those other receipts and get last year's knocked out. We're almost through with this year, people. Rock A Fist, thank you very much. That is my mission with this channel and the group is to make sure that I empower you to be able to do your bookkeeping and understand your numbers yourself, regardless. I'm not saying don't hire a bookkeeper, don't hire an accountant. Hire them. If that's what you need to do, then do so. But I also don't want you being taken advantage of. So if I can do something that will help you be empowered to know and understand that, this is the way it is, and I can be here to make sure that, if you have a question and you're not sure if what somebody is doing is on the up and up, then please reach out, because I want to make sure that you are protected. Kimmery says she's doing her Sunday bookkeeping or taxes. Rock Fizz 13. Nope, I've been putting it off because I haven't caught up for the year. I need to just sit and do it. And look, there are people that literally use a consultation call with me as a time to catch all their stuff up and make sure they have it all put in there right. So if that's what you need to do, reach out. We will get you all caught up and straight. I also will go over, if you are doing your taxes yourself and you're not quite sure, I will go through them with you and make sure that you've got all the stuff in the right place. All your I's are dotted, all your T's are crossed. Okay, Kimmery, bookkeeping. That's okay. Sunday's good. Report to me on Monday. Ty says, not sure if you mentioned it. How would someone that sells on multiple platforms do their accounting? Would they have different snapshot, or can they combine it? Okay, so you're using the workbooks. So what happens is there's on the total snapshot page. Nope. Wait. Yeah, the total snapshot page. There is 6 boxes for revenue. So if you are, say you're on eBay, say maybe you've got 2 eBay stores, a Mercari, a Poshmark, a Depop, and YouTube or whatnot. Each one can be its own separate revenue. All your expenses are going to stay in there together. Your mileage is going to be one thing. None of that stuff is separated. It is just not worth the headache to try and separate all that stuff out. And there's no reason to. The IRS doesn't require it. And again, if you need more than 6, just reach out. I will fix the spreadsheet for you so that there is more than 6 places for revenue. Now, the way that it's set up is if you use the eBay number tracker that is on there, which I don't currently have for the other platforms, but if you use the eBay number tracker, then your gross monthly sales will automatically pre-fill in the first section for under eBay. But if not, then just type it in. You don't have to use the number tracker. The number tracker is just to give you a snapshot of your store for the month so that you know that the decisions that you're making, like sales and things like that, are the right decisions and that they're actually working for you or not working for you so that you know to change it. And I suggest that you don't make any changes less than and leave them less than 90 days. So you make a change, you stick with the change. If in 90 days it hasn't worked itself out, or in a month, if it's really going badly, then okay. But generally speaking, you want to make sure that you give eBay specifically 90 days to come around. Now, I'll say that about a month ago, I dumped 600 pieces, and it's taken me a month, but dumping the 600 pieces has been worthwhile. My store is coming back now, and I'm right back at Nirvana, and I can start moving my way up, and all the garbage is gone. So that month was really, really hard. But now that it's done, I'm really confident in the fact that, I did it. I went ahead, I bit the bullet, and made the change. So now I see the change for the positive. But it was really hard not to put those items back. So I hope that answered your question, Tice, because you just want the one snapshot. Let's see. Kim says, the reason I'm asking about loss carry forward is because I will have a large loss beyond my tax calculation. Okay. And it may be something that we need to have a little bit more of a chat about just to make sure that I'm clear. And that might be a little more than what we want to go public. So just shoot me a message on Facebook, and we can, just tweak that a little bit if we need to. But if you need to carry a loss forward, you can do that. Tom says, in spreadsheet, an average cost calculator for items bought, how specific does it need to be? I do clothes, hats, shoes. Would just apparel be fine? Definitely. You don't even have to put anything in there at all. I mean, as far as clothes, hats, shoes, or apparel. I mean, it's more like to help. There is more to help you in making decisions. So, for example, I just put my receipts into there, and then I do one lump sum expense into my inventory expense for the month. So I just do one lump expense. But what I can do by having in the inventory tracker page, the calculator, I can see that this Goodwill, I bought a bunch of shoes and my average cost of goods was $5. And I remember that, hey, I got really good shoes at this particular store. And then I went over here to this other store and I bought a bunch of hats, and they ended up not being the best choice. And I, spent more money, for example. So it helps me kind of remember where I got things from and decide whether maybe I don't want to go back to that particular location. Victoria, I am sorry. I did this scheduled. thinking that it would help. And in fact, I couldn't make it work when I went to the stream. So I'm going to try that again, not as part of the monthly thing, and see if I can figure out what I did wrong so that next month when I go live for due to do September's bookkeeping, it'll be smooth. I'll be able to put the link out there for you guys to click on, and then just and then we won't have this issue. So I do apologize that you were waiting for me to start and I didn't start. East Coast Poker says, hit the notification bell. The right link comes right to you. Thank you. So yeah, what does everybody say? Subscribe, ring the bell. Let's see. Victoria says she's listening, but working day job and needs to get a time with me one-on-one. So sure, shoot me a message. I will send you my Calendly link, and you can pick a date and time that works for you. And if one of those doesn't work for you, then just shoot me a message, and I will see what I can do with my schedule to fit you in. Kimmery says, smash the like button. Yes, smash the like button. This is great. I'm used to doing the Zoom lives with the group, the Patreon group. And if you aren't in the group for some reason, and if you would like to join Tech and Chris's Patreon group, you've got access to me all the time. And it's the best group. So reach out and I will see about getting you a link for that. Kim says, is this a public forum? I thought this was a Patreon group, private. No, this one is on my YouTube channel and it is public. In 20 minutes, I will be going into the Zoom and I'm sorry. I mean, there's nothing that you said in here that is too much, which is what is, and even if we were just in the Patreon group, I would stop anybody before they said too much, right? But we are 19 minutes away from going live on Zoom for the Patreon group for the accounting call that happens twice a month. So this particular live will happen once a month. It's my way of trying to give back to the community and just help businesses make sure that they have set aside time to do their accounting every month. So whether you come on live or you watch the replay, hopefully there will be some information in there that will help you make the right decisions when you're doing your bookkeeping. So how are we doing? Do we have any other questions? So those that are here, I know that Kimmery is doing her bookkeeping on Sunday. I think East Coast Poker is driving. Victoria is at work, at the day job, which is great for making sure that it really helps if you have either a spouse or or yourself that is working at a regular job, and they're paying taxes in, then that's going to kind of help anybody that as your business goes through, especially if you're a sole proper LLC, those things go straight over to your 1040. You deduct your business expenses, and then everything that's left goes straight to your 1040. So if you take a loss, you're actually reducing the tax bill, your tax burden, from the day job for yourself or your spouse or both, right? If you don't have a loss, then that income again is whatever's left is going over, and so some of what you've paid in will help mitigate your tax bill. Kimberly says it's a travel day for her. And Victoria asks if I have a business Facebook page too. I do. It is Miller World Services. Miller World Services or Simplified Accounting with Cheryl. I tried to change the name, and I'm not sure that the name actually went through. So. Tom is doing January 22's spreadsheet entries. Good job. And Victoria says it's funding her thrifting problems. That's great. I mean, for those of us that are selling online, whether it be eBay or one of the other platforms, and we enjoy thrifting as in our regular everyday life, then it's great. It's very helpful being able to like going into the thrift stores. And who wants to pay retail once you know about how to thrift and do that on a regular basis? Then there's no need to pay retail anymore, right? Makes every purchase that you make, it makes you think twice about whether or not you want to spend that amount when it's outside of the thrift store. So Rocky Fist 13 says, the thing that confuses me about that is if your business takes a loss so many years in a row, does the IRS consider it a hobby? Doesn't it have to show it makes money to keep that designation? Yes. So you don't want to just continue to, take a loss every year forever, right? The IRS generally expects a loss within, the first 5 years. When you're in the group, you're probably not going to do that. You might make it through a couple of years with a loss, and after that, we're going to have to start doing some tax strategies to reduce that tax bill. I will have those come up in videos going forward. But no, you don't want to just, take a loss every year. A lot of accountants have been against the cash accounting method and expensing your inventory because a lot of people were they'd get to the end of the year and then they would make this great big huge purchase at the end of the year so that they had $0 left, that they either broke even or they took a loss. And you don't want to do that. You want to go ahead and pay taxes now, if that's the case for your tax situation, because you know that next year that it's going to go up. It's going to cost you more to pay tax on that same amount of money. So pay tax now, take that money, use it however you want to, only have to pay tax on anything that you make off of that money, right? And going forward. So don't try to get to zero. Don't make a big purchase just to get to zero. make a big purchase with the intention of it growing your business, so that next year you'll be better off. Next year they'll have more income coming in. And we'll work on the tax strategies to reduce your tax bill. So I hope that helped. Yeah, we don't want you getting considered a hobby, and after a certain amount of time that can happen. Lemuel, hi to you. Quick question. Can I use the business to pay the portion of the house used directly, or do I have to take it as an income first? Can I use the business to pay the portion of the house? All right. So there are two ways. There are two forms for home office deduction. One is a short form where you're just doing square footage, and one is the long form. And you can use more area of your house with the long form than you can with the short form. You can use more expenses with the long form than the short form. Your particular situation would depend on, which one that you used. So feel free to shoot me a private message, and we can, discuss what that would be. I'm going to try and do some more videos to try and cover some of those things that will be here on the YouTube channel. I do talk about it in the group pretty regular. But neither one of those things are necessarily correct. You get square footage, you get a portion of your utilities, and you can even get a portion of rent or mortgage, depending on how you take your home office deduction and whether or not the home is the only place that you do business. Ross says, I think I technically took a loss the last 2 years unintentionally because my deductions were so high. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. If you need help going forward, just reach out, let me know. Again, with the first 5 years, it's kind of expected, but it should be less and less of a loss, right? Technically speaking, unless it's obvious that the first year was, small income, small loss. The next year was bigger income, but it was kind of, you can tell that your business is growing. Mandy says, how do we consider laundry done at home? So I buy, when I do laundry at home, I buy my laundry detergent, all my unscented stuff, and it's separate from what I buy for the house. And then I'm taking a percentage of my electric and my water. So it kind of gets put in with the home office deduction. And also, Cheryl, mine are such a mess from last year. Please have a physical before looking at mine. That's great. I think I'm good. It hasn't been that long ago. Heart issues are in my family, so just have my address, and so that you can call 911 if you see me fall out. How's that? All right. Well, we've only got a few minutes left. I want to make sure that I'm back in the Zoom room to take over for the accounting call in the Patreon group. So we've got like 3 minutes. If we have any other questions, then just let me know real quick. And if not, and you're in the Patreon, come on over and we'll continue the discussion over there. So thank you all for coming. This means the world to me that you guys showed up and had questions for me. Thank you, Tice. I really appreciate it. Kimmery, Sally, 5-minute face. All right. Oh, I know who that is. I see the flamingo. Thank you guys. Thank you all. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Debbie. Sorry that you came in late, and I apologize if that was because of my ignorance on how to do this. I promise to be more prepared and have it right next month. All right. Thank you.